Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
4 fine black men here doing the right thing. Appreciate it. Good to have y'all. Derek, let me start with you in terms of what you knew about this era, if anything at all, before you started the movie.
No, this was a history gap for me. You know, not just in the sense of the film, but in the sense of just telling time. And I really didn't associate maybe education. Never heard it talked around family, but I didn't know the political climate and blacks that were involved during the World War II and the importance. And this was, through this film, it was a true education.
Omar, give me a sense of what you learned about the character of these men in portraying them.
It was obvious that these were valiant warriors. I think it's a lot easier to fight for a country that loves you, and they weren't loved nor respected. So to go out and give the most valuable thing that any one person can give, which is your own life, for a country that is marginal at best on your existence, you know, there's big kudos that need to be given, and hopefully our film shed some light on that.
Mike, you know what's interesting in all of what Spike has done over the years is really shine the light on the intricacies of the time, and it becomes more than just a war movie to a great degree. Talk to me about the nuances of what you were able to show through this movie beyond just it being a World War II movie.
I think one of the things that we were able to kind of convey to the audience was a sense of brotherhood. In this particular piece, you got 4 guys coming from different parts of the country. And at the end of the day, as much as we all may disagree or on certain ways or tactics in how to proceed, we are going to follow him and not leave him behind. And we're going to back him up no matter what.
Bishop, we dead? No, listen to me, you was dead, okay? But I brung you back. Now, you ain't dying until I get my money. You owe me $1,400. Look here. Go check out that haystack. What in the world?
Laz, let me turn the political question to you. In making this film in a time of war, when you went through it, did it cause you to rethink or re-examine or re-look at what is going on today?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, you really lose a sense of who's important during a time of war. You focus on the policies and should we be there or shouldn't we be there. But to these guys, they're not fighting for any political reason. And when I say that, I mean our men and women in the armed forces. They're fighting to defend the person right next to them. And you know, when you look at a movie like Miracle at Santa Ana, where, you know, only 60 years ago, black people were not allowed to bear arms next to white people. The Army was segregated, you know, and nowadays it's integrated. And you had, you know, somebody like a Colin Powell, who was the head of all the armed forces. You really realize that during a time when we look at America still has a lot to grow and change, there has been significant changes, and we have come a long way.
The idea of roles for black people in Hollywood, and in particular for black men, when you talk about absent as we've talked about too many times, buffoonish comedies, the buddy role, that, you know, nobody goes home with you, you ain't got no girlfriend, but you just right next to the white boy with all of that. So give me a sense of, y'all know I ain't lying. Give me a sense of what this kind of role means to you.
When Spike called and said you got the part, there was a huge obligation and responsibility towards the veterans themselves. And to be able to play or pay tribute to them by giving the performance that I did in this film is a true honor. In terms of contemporary Hollywood right now, it's so interesting to be able to play such an interesting, multi-layered character, you know what I mean, who, in my opinion, and I'll say this straight up, does get the girl, you know, and just doesn't really you know, I didn't feel confined by any of the other Hollywood stereotypes on this particular film. And by having Spike at the helm, his main goal from the beginning, and we saw this when we were in boot camp actually, was he was going to make us look like men. We were not going to be buffoons. We were not going to be clowns. He was going to make us look like men. None of us were going to be walking around, you know, in dresses or anything like that. There was no emasculation going on, and we felt so confident and comfortable with him at the helm because we knew he had our backs in that sense.
Derek, what about for you? Many people have talked about the roles that you've chosen or have been picked for, and many of them have a certain, as we talk, dignity given to them. Is that a conscious effort on your part?
You know, even though it's art, I do try to contribute some type of, you know, conscious effort, because in Hollywood, as you travel, and even as I go to different schools, you know, a lot of the young men, you know, they ask, well, you know, is there more positive roles? You know, I would like to do this. So just standing in that office with these gentlemen, you know, it feels good.
All right. Well, congratulations to you all. Appreciate it, John.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back.